Welcome dear students for today's online session of 3rd semester BCA for the subject System Software affiliated to Kuvempu University. So today we have our session 22. In our today's session we will discuss on the second unit, that is assembler and loader, and today for the discussion we will be learning the subroutine linkage. So before learning today's session, let us have the recap of our previous class. In the previous class, dear students, you were able to understand what's a loader, what a loader is supposed to do, and what are the different classification of loaders are there. Among them, we have already learnt many loaders there. Among them, the last session was focusing on the loader called as absolute loader. So today, the learning objective for this session will be to understand the basic concepts of subroutine linkage. And this subroutine linkage is really one of very interesting and very important concept in our this particular unit. So session outcomes of today will be student will be able to understand the subroutine linkage. So now let us understand what you mean by a subroutine linkage there. See dear students, here you have two words, one is subroutine and another one is linkage. I think you have learnt when you are learning your C program, you have learnt about functions there. So you have learnt what is a function. It is nothing but a part of a particular program. In the same way, if I take the program as a routine, then a function can be called as a subroutine, because subroutine refers to a part of a program or a segment of a program written in assembly language. So here we are discussing on how to have a linkage between one subroutine and another subroutine coming from a main program. So that is the ultimate thing what we will learn today. So now let us start understanding what is this subroutine linkage. See, in order to recognize the concept of subroutine linkages, first we'll consider a scenario or an example. Consider there is a program called as A and a call to the subroutine B is prepared. That means we have a program, its name is A, and we have a subroutine called as B. This subroutine B is not written in the program segment of A. Okay, so rather this B is defined in some another program segment in C. So totally here we have three different things. One is A, B and C. A is the program and B is a subroutine, and it is been written in another program segment called as C. And you're trying to call this B in A, which is not written in A but it is written in C. If this is the scenario, there should be an understanding to our assembler that A, B and C are already being used in a single program. So for that, we will see how this subroutine linkage will run. So doing this is nothing wrong in it. But from assembler point of vision, while producing the code for B, as nodes B is not defined in the segment A, the assembler really finds difficult to locate where this particular B is, because it is not in A. Thus, the assembler cannot locate the values of these symbolic references, and therefore it will enter a state wherein it will tell that there is an error. It will tell that I don't know where is this B because I don't have in this A. Okay, but B is been written in segment C. See, to solve this particular problem of assembler, that is to conquer the problem, there should be some method by which the assembler should be explicitly learned that the segment B is really defined in some other segment in C and it is not in A, so that I have to get a linkage to C, search for the B, and I have to get the work being done in the C. So this is what being done with the help of a subroutine linkage. Okay, now let's continue our discussion there. To state such subroutines as external, we can use the assembler directive ext, which means external. Thus, the statement such as extb should be added at the beginning of the segment A. And this is the solution what we are giving for the error given up by your assembler. That is, at the starting of the program A itself, we are writing a statement called as extb, which will tell the assembler that see, this B is been called in A, but it is been written somewhere other than A. This really helps to notify assembler that B is defined somewhere else. Likewise, we will take another example. If one subroutine or a variable is defined in the existing segment, okay, and can be pointed by other segments, then those should be stated by the means of pseudo ops called as int. So I think you understood what we are taking the second example. Assume you are having a particular subroutine written in A, but it is not referred in A. It is been referred in some other segment like C, D or E. At that time, it has to be referred with a pseudo ops called as int. So totally, dear students, we learned two statements which are doing the subroutine linkage. One is extb when you are referring something which is not in the available code, and int which is being used when you are trying to refer that in some other code. Thus, the assembler could inform loader that these are the subroutines or variables used by other segments. So we'll have another example. See, at the beginning of the main, the subroutine B is stated as external. When a call to the subroutine B is prepared, before creating the unconditional jump, the recent content of the program counter should be accumulated in the system stack preserved initially. That is what we are telling. Likewise, while returning from the subroutine B at a statement called RET, which represents return, the pop is executed to restore the program counter of caller routine with the address of the next instruction to be implemented. So this example, what we have stated, if we take up the skeleton of that particular program, it will look like that. We have a main program and we have the subroutine B there. See, every assembly program, it has to start with the mnemonic called as start, and it will be ended with a mnemonic called as end there. Okay, so once we have main, start and end, we have extb and call to B. You can identify that B is been written outside. In the same way, in the B, you are returning the RET statement. So dear students, so now we understood what do we mean by a subroutine and what do we mean by linkage. In turn, in an assembler, how it is going to resolve something which is been referred from externally or something which is going to be referred externally. So now let us have the MCQs for today's session. So we'll have the first one. So the last statement of the source program should be, just now with the example of a program, I said what should be the last one, whether it should be a stop or be return or an end or a none. And the answer is, it is end. At the first we have the start and at the end we have the end. So the second MCQ is, ext is an assembler directive. Yes or no? Yes, ext is an assembler directive, and you have identified the significance of ext, when to use and where to use in an assembly. So next question is, ext is an assembler directive completed. So next, beginning statement of the source program should be what? Whether it should be a stop, begin, start or none. And the answer is start. Okay, so we'll have the last thing, that is subroutine is a subfunction. Yes or no? While starting this session, I said that the subroutine is similar to what we call as subfunctions. So thus, today's session summary will be, the student is being able to understand what is the subroutine linkage and how to use that one along with some of the examples. So dear students, for further references, you can refer to books authored by John Donovan, and the title of the book is System